This is NoBSNutirition. We're going to talk about the 4 compound lifts, the fastest way to get strong. Hello everybody, this is episode 14 of the podcast. On these podcasts I talk about 3 to 2 subjects, maybe one, and I go to more detail. The way I explain these podcasts with definitions is in the top left or right. Also, I put the names of these podcasts in the description. Is also the timestamps, so you can go just look at the timestamps. And we're going to talk about the 4 compound lifts. What are the 4 compound lifts? In the definition, let's get started. So the 4 compound lifts is, by definition, is pretty a multi-muscle group like compound. It's focused on multiple muscle groups at once. So let's say you have a chest press, for example. The chest press will actually focus on mostly upper body, like the triceps, the back muscles, the chest, of course. It's multiple muscle groups that it's targeting at once. So let's go for the bench press. The bench press target muscle groups like the upper body, the triceps, and also the chest, in the middle of the chest. How to proceed form, it depends. How would you proceed it? It's multiple variables, like a wider grip bench, how people like to have a wider grip, or a narrower grip, like more of the triceps. It's wherever how strong you are. What I would recommend is whatever feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable close to the knurling, where like the bench rings is at, like the bar rings, then you might want to go from there. Honestly, I don't know. You have to experiment. You have to see what feels right. Same thing with any other exercise. You have to see what's right. Of course, over time, I suggest make sure your form is better. Trying to get better with form, even if you do feel right doing that way, it might not be the best form or the optimal position to actually push more weight on the bar. And throughout the time of training, we most likely want more weight on the bar or just good form. So I highly suggest that. Squat focus on the quads, hamstring, glutes, but it's different type of squats. If you focus on more low bar squat stance versus a high bar squat stance, you focus on the back more. You focus on the glutes way more. You focus on less quads and more hamstring development. You focus on more depth possibly. The more upright squat focus on more of the quads, more of the hamstrings. Tom Platz did this type of squat a lot more. It's wherever you feel comfortable to you. For me, low bar feels very comfortable to me because I can get in a nice position. Right now, I'm going to lower the weight so I can go in more depth. I would highly suggest to go more depth just to have better mobility. Not ass to grasp, but below parallel is really good enough. I'm going to focus on that, and I'm probably going to most likely see a lot more benefits, especially my flexibility benefits, and also my strength will improve. If I go more deeper with 185 pounds than 225 or 315, I will notice a lot of improvement because I'm going a different range of motion, different stimulus. So I highly suggest try it out, see what's comfortable for you. Deadlifting. Deadlifting targets the back. It pretty much targets 80% of your whole body, except for your head, of course. The deadlift is good of a hinging movement. The deadlift can perform more hinging. Of course, if you have bad form and you do it more frequently, it can be a negative pulling motion, but it can give you a lot of strength, especially on your legs, your back. It really focuses on your back, your upper traps, your lats. It's 80%. It doesn't focus on one specific movement. It focuses on 80% of your whole body. And during that period of deadlifting, you will see increased strength because it touch up a little bit of your lats. It touch up a little bit of your traps. You will notice bigger forearms possibly because you're gripping the bar. I know when I started deadlifting, I noticed a little bit bigger lats, a bigger traps. It's different ways to deadlift. Sumo or conventional. I don't give a crap if you believe sumo is cheating. Do sumo if it feels comfortable to you. I don't care if you think conventional is stupid. Do conventional. It's nice. Do both. For me, I'm just trying to practice conventional movements. I'm trying to get good at the conventional. I want to practice conventional. Sumo doesn't really work with me. Then later on, when I get heavier weight, I might do sumo. It will translate over time to do both. So I highly suggest to do both just to get mostly bang for your buck. And also, if you do sumo, it's actually more, it's more critique. You have to focus on pulling. You have to focus on engaging the glutes. You have to focus on more inner. It's actually different. Same thing with a bench. If you go a wider grip versus a narrow grip, it focuses more on the tricep. The wider grip will focus more on the chest. So it's different ways to do it. Now, the overhead press. The overhead press targets the front delt, the shoulders, some of the rear delt, and pretty much the whole upper arm. Depending what overhead press you do, like a traditional overhead press, not a strip press, not a military press, a whole overhead press like starting strength did, like you thrust forward with your hips, you gauge your hips, and you thrust back, and you have a bounce motion. With this bounce motion, you put the bar up over your head, not over and back, over your head. You go forward slightly to the same position you were before thrusting your hips back, and then you shrug your scapula to lock it in place. That is the overhead press I'm talking about. With this motion, you're focusing on the glutes a little bit because you tie up the glutes. You focus on a lot of core stability, and you focus on stability in general. Stability plays an important role of the overhead press because the overhead press is a very technical movement. You have to get it down. If your overhead press, like if you push the bar outwards, the bar is going forward. You have to push the bar straight up and go under the bar. Not over. Like, don't overdo it. Just go under the bar. Overhead press is a great way to build shoulders. That's how I got my shoulders bigger. And it's a compound movement. It focuses on multiple muscle groups at once. So I highly suggest you do overhead press. Okay, now the grand finale. Why should you focus on these movements? And warning. The reason why you should focus on these movements, if you're a beginner who wants to get strong super fast, and you want something you can focus on, that's literally one movement, is these compound lifts. Because these compound lifts, you do not need much time to do all these other movements. Let's say you're a bodybuilder, you're doing rope pull downs. Okay, let's say you're doing legs, right? You're doing quad extensions, hamstrings, curls, 3 sets. You have to do literally 9 to 10 sets of everything. That might take about an hour, depending how much, what's your physical level. Versus a squat that literally focuses on the under variables, and the only, as much as you want, you can only do 3 sets of 5, and you will have better, or even exponentially better, more strength, more muscle building than the quad, the hamstring curls, or the quad extensions, just because it focuses on multiple muscle groups. But these movements are a little bit difficult. Let's say you're trying to do a bench. A bench is very, even though it seems so simple, if you don't know how to do leg drive, it is a technical movement. These compound lifts is very technical. So I would recommend going to starting strength, my pump. They have videos on these type of tasks. You can focus on these 4 types of workouts, and you can build the most muscle. We try to build more muscle to speed up that metabolism, to eat more food, to build more muscle, become healthier. Like I said, these are complicated too, but you can learn how to do so. Also, we are not trying to be in the gym 5 times in a day. A lot of people are busy, a lot of office workers. Me, like a gym junkie, wants to be in the gym 24/7, but I know I can't be working out 24/7 just because I can. Let's call it ego. You just have an ego. So I highly suggest for the beginner, for the person who just want to get strong as humanly possible, these old lifts, actually, these old timer lifts that been with us for a long time, will produce most of the strength than leg curls. Even though leg curls are not stupid, it's just the amount of time these lifts have comparison to leg curl. Warning. Honestly, it just depends what you want to do. Like I said, this video was intended to build the most strength in a short period of time. Would you build a lot of strength in a short period of time if you do bodybuilding lifts? Yes, of course. But would it be faster to do compound lifts in a short amount of time and become way stronger, become way bigger? Yes, 100%. Would it be more optimal to do the compound lifts than the bodybuilding lifts? 100%. Science backed it up. Studies backed it up. People actually doing it backed it up. I did it, backed it up. Like, it's multiple factors. But do you like what you're doing? That's what really matters in the end. So if you don't like doing squats, bench, deadlift, overhead press, then yeah, go ahead and do the compound lifts. Make sure you progressively overload with frequency, volume, intensity, sets, reps, etc. And make sure you get stronger. Track it, you know. But this is just for the person who's like my age, who's actually probably younger than me, who wants to get strong fast, and that's what I would recommend. I make mini podcasts like this. I make nutrition videos, training videos, etc. So I highly suggest focus on these compound lists. Only focus on these compound lists for like 4 days, maybe 5, and just try and get strong at it. Try and get strong at them. Try to put your bench press to 225 for reps. That's really it. The summary for this is we focus on the 4 compound lists: bench, squat, deadlift, or rep press. These compound lists focus on multiple muscle groups at once, so it targets it faster than doing separate muscle groups, separate exercises for different muscle groups. You might not get as a crazy pump if you do 5 sets of 3, but you're getting crazy strength than the person who's doing something possibly, you know? But that's really it for episode 14. I focus on these 4 compound lists. I highly suggest to do them. They're gonna give you a lot of strength for your buck, save you a lot of time, especially if you're busy. It's not barbaric. It's very safe if you know how to do it right. Dosing, frequency, intensity. If you have a nutrition coach who's helping you in the background for nutrition, or a trainer that could be helping you, then yeah, it should be pretty safe. Of course, if you hurt yourself, there could be many factors like your sleep, your stress, your reps you did, or how much volume you did. That could be on you. Call accountability. But try to be safe with these movements. Try to learn how to do so. Literally in starting strength, I see a 90-year-old who's ripping 405 more than me. So it's not because of the age, it's just because how would you do it, Trying to get knowledge, trying to focus on researching. I really push that. Really research your stuff to learn. Don't just take Aunt Sally's advice because Aunt Sally hurt herself. That doesn't make sense. You won't take medicine from Aunt Sally, like medicine she gave you. You won't take it because it's not yours, right? So don't just take advice and live on that advice. Research your advice. But that's it for episode 14. Of course, like I said, I do nutrition coaching. I'm getting my certificate later. I'm working on that. But if you want free nutrition coaching, please hit me up. If you want to see on my other podcast, please look it over there. I talk about fat loss, nutrition. I talk about training, sleep, education. Please comment below if you have any video ideas. And that's it. This is Drake for NoBSNutirition. Bye.